Forest in the gold, and it looks like we are ready to go here from Ambrose Urbanic Field. Starts off with Pitt in possession down the right side, looking for Fury to start things off. And going back real quick to that starting lineup for the Panthers, that 4 midfield look. We talked to Coach Waldrum earlier in the week. He says that really allows Pitt to have as many of their really talented players on the field for as much as possible, because that midfield is just so deep.
Well, and I think too, for a while, he was wondering what to do with Ellie Caulfield and Chloe Minos. They're essentially very similar players with the same kind of game. But with this formation, he's able to keep both players in. Ellie's gotten out on the attack as well, even though she's sitting kind of deep in that defensive role today.
And you see Deborah Abiodun out of the starting lineup again for the Panthers in that midfield. Makes that decision a little bit easier for Randy Waldrum and his staff.
Yeah, and Kira Mellenhorst slots into her spot. Kira has been really solid with taking corner kicks, taking free kicks. It's always an interesting combination when you get her and Sarah Shapansky standing over him, because you don't know who's gonna take it. So it kind of tricks the other team's defense a little bit.
Saw the first touches of the day there for Wake's goalkeeper. Madison Howard has missed the last few games, got hurt before that UVA game, and was on the bench before, but took warm-ups today, felt good, and gets the nod to start things off for the Demon Deacons. Goes back to her now from Dempsey Brown on that back line for Wake Forest that has just been so strong this entire season. Bit of a clash in styles here for the Panthers today, because they shoot the ball at the second highest clip in the country, and Wake Forest has been so good at preventing shots on net.
Yeah, and I think Pitt against Duke, I mean, they had a ton of possession, forcing Duke to play a lot of defense. I don't know if we'll have that same game today. I think these teams might be pretty even on the possession, but these are two really solid defenses that don't see a lot of goals against them. Pitt obviously has that really good home record too, that they want to keep intact. Undefeated at home so far this season, only 1 tie against Notre Dame.
Javoshi looking to work out of the back up towards Hanks, and then to the right side with Emily Murphy. Shapansky now in control for the Panthers. Deals it back to Olivia Lee, a freshman who's been getting a few more starts here lately on that back line for Pitt. Zalski up the right side with a little bit of space to work with, gives to Mellenhorst, and goes right back to Zalski. Here's Mertz on the right side, working on Ansborough. Mertz again with space. Crosser goes towards the middle, trying to find Shapansky there. Loose for a second in the box, but Howard gobbles it up and is able to hold things off. So out of the gate for the Panthers, this group of forwards, certainly one of the strengths of this team. Last year, obviously, you miss Amanda West. You lose a little bit of depth there, but you get Samaya Fury really turning into this sort of star. And you also have Sarah Shapansky, who leads the team in goals, and just an embarrassment of riches up top for Pitt.
Yeah, I think we set off Mike a little bit before the show started. I never thought I'd see the day where somebody leads Pitt in goals and it's not Amanda West. And she hasn't found the back of the net since September 17th against NC State, so you know she's itching for it. And I talked to her a little bit after the Duke game, and she said, I really thought I was going to get it. I want that goal. She's just a hungry, hungry competitor. So it's kind of one of those situations, though, where Landy Mertz is the assist machine. Nikayla Small is the assist machine for Wake Forest, but the ball is going to go down the right flank more than it is the left, and Amanda West is going to make those runs in the box, try to get her foot or her head on it.
Mellenhorst can't keep possession there, and when you do research for these Pitt soccer games, you can find a lot of really fun stats on Amanda West. Perhaps this is one of the more interesting ones, though. She hasn't scored in 4 games. That is the longest scoreless drought since her freshman season back in 2019. I mean, 4 games really not that long to not score a goal, but for someone like Amanda West, who the Pitt record book is pretty much named after at this point, it's a bit of an eyebrow raiser.
Yeah, and she wants to score. You know she does, and she looked so much more lively in games like Boston College and Duke. Notre Dame game, she didn't get too many touches, but Randy Waldrum said a couple days ago that I would be a little bit worried if she wasn't getting looks and she wasn't getting touches on the balls. But she is getting good shots. They're just not getting in the back of the net. They've played against some really talented goalkeepers in the last couple weeks. Amanda West still just trying to get back on the goal sheet.
And you look on the Wake Forest side of things, coming into ACC play, they've struggled a little bit more than an out-of-conference. Still got that 17 ranking next to their name, but coming off a game just recently against Syracuse, they had the 2-2 draw. They get the point out of it, but still not necessarily the result they were hoping for.
Yeah, it wasn't Wake Forest's best showing. So coming into this game against Pitt, they're going to want to rebound. They're going to want the 3 points. If they win, they can overtake Pitt on the ACC standings. Still a lot of season left to play. But you know they want to end this road stretch that they've been on, Wake Forest, in a good fashion. Pitt, though, this is their final game of the home stretch before they go on a little bit of a road trip, going next to Syracuse, Florida State, and then Clemson before coming home to end the season against Virginia Tech. So Pitt wants 3 in a row before they hit the road.
Talk about how there's really no breaks in this conference. You beat a ranked team in Duke, and then a few days later you get Wake Forest, and then next week you get Florida State. Just so many tough games on the schedule. Up the right side now. That one goes out of play. Both teams still trying to feel this game out a little bit, it seems, offensively, spending a lot of times in the defensive final thirds, but Wake will get their throw in here, or excuse me, corner kick on this sideline here. It'll be Chavoshi to take it. The junior native of Potomac, Maryland. Crosser into the box. And Johnson gets ahead on it there, but not enough on it to give Breach much trouble at all. Kristen Johnson, a pretty interesting story, the native of Reykjavik, Iceland. In her 3rd season, the defender. Spent some time with the Icelandic national team as well, so she's got some experience at that international level, as we've seen a few players, especially on the Pitt side of things, who have that international experience, and it brings it a lot to the table in this kind of ACC conference play.
Yeah, I think the most well-known was Adelie Palomo. She now is not with the team. She's played for Mexico youth national teams for a number of years now. She's playing Liga MX Femenil Tigres Club. But there's a couple players still. Amanda West has gotten some time with the senior national team for Canada. Lainey Fuchs is getting plenty of time with the youth national teams for Austria.
And you see across the men's and women's game now at both the college level, just this international pool of players just continues to expand. Not something we really saw in past years, but as a chance develops here for West up the left side. Crosser was looking for Mertz on that back post, but couldn't find her, and Howard makes a nice play coming off her line and getting that one corralled.
Not often you see Amanda West trying to assist Landy Mertz here, but that's a nice run and a really nice ball, just not enough numbers up front for Pitt.
Nice play from Zalski to regain possession. Into the final third. That one on net, and Howard tested again, but catches that one pretty easily there in net. Here's Nikayla Small, someone we talked a little bit about in the Open. Been a really solid player from Canada in her junior season. Missed last season due to injury after a strong freshman campaign. On that 2021 ACC All-Freshman team, and where she got a heavy workload and has picked up right where she left off in this season. Zalski up the right side, nobody home though. Talked to Coach Tony DeLuz earlier in the week, and he said she pops up in a lot of different places. Someone who's really hard to get the ball off, talking about Small. Makes it really hard for defenders to get close to her. Here's Mertz. Katie Zalski working her way back towards the middle, giving to Fury. Now Caulfield. One-touch pass goes back to Fury, looking for some room. Looked like she might have had Shapansky on a run up the middle, but a nice play by that Wake Forest backline deflects that pass out. And now here's Nikayla Small in transition as she gets pickpocketed by Ellie Caulfield. Mertz again up the right side with space. Crosser goes near post. Can't find Fury there.
I think Wake Forest has looked at a little bit of Pitt's tape, because when Samaya Fury had the ball about where she scored against Duke, there were about 4 defenders against her, not letting her rip one again. Her and Ellie Caulfield. Caulfield had a wonder goal against Boston College. Pitt a threat inside the box, outside the box as well.
Mertz crosser looking for Szczepanski. That looked like a good ball into the box, but once again, Howard in a good position to make that save.
Howard's been tested pretty early in this game. Sakira Mellenhorst slides it down. Landy Mertz does what she does best. It was a good ball in. Just Sarah Szczepanski went a little bit short from where she was running, but I like Pitt's approach here of testing the goalkeeper. You know, like you said, Zach, she has been out with a little bit of injury this season. Wake Forest has had to shuffle between 3 different goalkeepers, also having Valentine Amaral on their roster along with Peyton Cahill. So there hasn't been too much consistency with Wake Forest in their defense and their goalkeeping units. But Howard's gotten the nod in 9 games. Well, this is her 9th game this season, 8 games previously, and so they're going to want to test her coming off of injury.
And we talked a little bit about that matchup between that Wake Forest backline and the Pitt group of forwards coming into the game today. And it seems like just 10 minutes and change in, but still looks like that group of Pitt forwards controlling the pace a little bit more earlier on.
Yeah, and those attacking midfields are certainly helping too. Chloe Minas, Kira Mellenhorst. Pitt may give up the ball every once in a while, but they're going to win it back in their midfield and then send it up front. Very rarely do Ashton Gordon, Katie Zalesky, and Olivia Lee need to get involved. Pitt has a really solid midfield that I think gets overlooked because of those attackers.
Here's Emily Murphy. Lee picks that one off and gives to Szczepanski. Now Ashton Gordon in that center back position. And then to Ellie Caulfield. We talked about Caulfield, that brilliant goal against Boston College. Not necessarily an aspect of her game that just jumps off the paper to you every time in her goal scoring, but man, that was an unbelievable goal and helped Pitt propel to a 2-0 win there.
She said immediately after she shot that, "Oh my gosh, I don't think she expected that to go in." After the game, I went up to her and I said, "Did you expect that?" And she said, "Not at all." She couldn't believe that she got that over Villabrandt.
We've seen her with some experience taking those free kicks from outside the 18-yard box, but that was a situation where she had to kind of create some space for herself and did so with flying colors.
And she had a great ball too. Amanda West pulled about 6 different defenders and then unselfishly laid it off for Caulfield. Mentioned earlier how Amanda West hasn't scored since that NC State game, so that's a big play for her to lay that ball off, and it worked out well in Pitt's favor.
Abby Colton now in possession for the Demon Deacons. Goes to the middle there with Emily Murphy. Wake Forest still having a tough time trying to break into that final third of Pitt. Still early on, but that back line of Pitt holding strong so far. Zalesky off to Gordon. Right side Mertz with some room to work. Howard once again coming out to field that. And we've seen Pitt trying to operate on this right side early on with Mertz, trying to get those crosses back to the middle from her, but no tangible success with that so far. Laurel Ansborough now in possession. Ansborough, the junior from Cary, North Carolina, has played over 1,000 minutes entering this game today. Also led all Wake Forest players with nearly 1,600 minutes last season. Lee again, the freshman from New York. And now Zalesky. Zielski, another fascinating story on the back line for the Panthers. Scored 4 goals last season, hasn't recorded a point yet this year, but still just in her second season. It feels like she's really a veteran of this team now.
Oh my gosh, it feels like she's the senior. I feel like I've been watching Katie Zielski since I started doing this. I can't imagine this back line without her. She slotted in so well last year in her freshman season, made an immediate impact, and this coaching staff really trusts her. She's got a great partner in Ashton Gordon, too.
Minas from outside, crosser, back post, looking for West. That was a really good looking ball into the box, but nothing going there as the flag goes up.
Yeah, West makes her run a little bit too early, gets called for the offside. But it just shows how much she wants to get in there and get that goal.
Real good cross from Minas, too. Just maybe a half step offside from West there up top. Fury with the high press. Wake Forest with a little bit of time to gather here now with Ansborough. And we touched on it a little bit. This goaltending situation with Wake Forest, pretty fascinating. Obviously, you get that big win on the road with your backup goaltender in. Peyton Cahill was called on in warmups to come into that one and was able to steal a big one there for the Demon Deacons.
It's good to know if you're Wake Forest that you have depth at that goalkeeper position. That's so important. You know, last year, this Pitt gets a shot off here, collected by Howard. She's been pretty busy this afternoon already. But last year, talking to Randy Waldrum, he said, like, we feel confident putting Ellie Breach into a game. It's good to have depth at that position. That's one that you need it.
See there, Madison Howard, also someone who scored a goal. It looked like a bit of a misprint on the box score, but she did come in and score a PK in that 6-0 win against Iona. Got to be the crowning achievement of a goalkeeper to get a goal in your career at some point.
And not a goal that's on standard penalty kicks, but like an in-game actual penalty kick. That is
going
really
on the stat sheet.
Yeah, super impressive.
Back to Howard again. Pitt putting some pressure on here with Mertz. Johnson saves that one from going out, but Gordon regathers for the Panthers as they look to press ahead. Wake Forest still some trouble building out of the back so far. Flag goes up again there as Landy Mertz was caught off sides.
Landy Mertz, she has 6 assists this season, 1 goal. She's tried a couple times to find the back of the net again. She had some good-looking shots against Duke, but Randy Waldrum and company, they got to be happy with the output that she has on the assist chart. She and Sarah Shapansky lead the team together with 6 apiece.
Pitt, a team that has been so good in the assist category. They rank 7th nationally in assists as Hanks comes off in place of Hannah Johnson. So a pretty early substitution here for the Demon Deacons. Was hurt last game against Clemson in that first half, so maybe still not exactly 100%. She gets a break here about halfway through this first half of play.
You know, we talk about the ACC in depth and whatnot, but this schedule is so condensed. In October, these teams are just so busy, in particular in these really tough games, and they're all smushed together. Both teams played just on Thursday, now coming on Sunday. Pitt gets a little bit of luxury with the fact that they're at home.
Lee with speed up the left side, doing a nice job of creating some space, but an errant pass towards the middle. Loses possession there for the Panthers. And we were talking to these coaches about the strength of the ACC, and you don't even really think about it, but next year, it's going to get even stronger. You bring in Stanford, a team that just won the national title a few years ago, and it's already probably the best soccer conference in the country, but next year it will objectively be the strongest conference from top to bottom. And this idea of no breaks in the schedule will just be even further emphasized.
Yeah, and I wonder what the NCAA, what the ACC is going to do in regard to playoffs. Are they going to add more spots? Are they going to just keep it at 6? It's going to be really interesting, but there's Coach Tony DeLuz there. 27th season. We both had to gasp.
He's coached Wake for all but 3 years of the program's existence. Also recently picked up his 300th career win with Wake in that victory over Virginia, now sitting at 301 in the distinguished career of Tony DeLuz. So here on the ACC, these coaches really tend to stick around a while, doing a really nice job of building these programs up. Coach DeLuz, another example of that. Whistle blows there on Szczepanski. Free kick coming here for Wake Forest near midfield. So we've seen Pitt have some chances early on, but nothing too strong so far for either side from the offensive side of things. Here's West. Going crossfield here, leaving for Mertz. Zalesky to Gordon now. West moving forward. Mellenhorst leaves for the trailer Mertz, who gives back to West. Crosser into the box there. That one on goal, and a really nice save there from Howard. So Szczepanski able to get a shot on net. That looked like it had a chance for a second, but once again, Howard able to move to her right and make the save.
Amanda West switching sides over here, sends in a really nice ball. Good job from Sarah Szczepanski to kind of step off and give herself some room. Just not enough, kind of a tough hit at the way she was positioned, but you have to think if maybe she was a step or two back, get her head on it, that could be 1-0 to Pitt so far. But Pitt having some really nice chances down here, specifically on this right side.
Going back to that chance from Szczepanski, pretty unbelievable that she even got that on goal. From where she received that ball, was able to give Pitt an opportunity there. Now Chloe Minas. That one out of play now with Lee to throw in for the Panthers. Few subs coming on. It'll be Anna Bout and Deborah Abiodun on for the Panthers. Abiodun, as we mentioned, maybe still dealing with a bit of an injury. Missed that Duke game. And comes on as a sub now here for Pitt. Spent time with Randy Waldron with that Nigerian national team. Made a run in the Women's World Cup into the knockout stages. Has really been a breath of fresh air in this Pitt midfield.
And she adds that physical component as well. I talked to her a couple weeks ago, and she said, I grew up playing with boys in Nigeria. There weren't women's club teams, so I had to learn how to be physical to keep up. And she said she's still learning how to clean up the tactical part of her game. But this game has been pretty physical. Wake Forest applying a lot of pressure. The whistle's been blown a couple times, so this is the type of game that Abiodun's going to thrive in.
Just over 20 minutes remaining in this first half of play. Still, Wake Forest yet to register a shot. As Abiodun moves up now with some speed. She's got Bout on her left. Going up against 4 Wake Forest defenders, though, loses that battle, and the Demon Deacons able to alleviate some of that pressure. Left side, Ansborough to Johnson. Crosser towards the middle there. Murphy tried to settle it down a little bit on the back heel, but now goes out to Johnson. Wake Forest still in possession with Dempsey Brown, who slows things down. Here's Abby Colton. Talking about this Wake Forest team, a team heavy with juniors. Something that Coach DeLoosehead was a big difference from his team last year as they're getting a little bit older, getting a little bit more mature, which, as we've seen with Pitt, really goes a long way in ACC play and having success both in the regular and postseason. Wake trying to make another deep run this year. See those 17 juniors for Wake Forest. He said this is a team that's built around their juniors and has really helped propel them to some success so far this season. Zalesky into the box. The shot goes on goal. No trouble there for Howard, though.
I think Katie Zalesky might have heard you a little bit earlier saying how she doesn't have a goal yet this season. That's her second try from about the same distance. I don't mind it. Howard is not the tallest goalkeeper, so there is a chance to kind of sneak that through. They've been good-looking shots.
Talking to Coach Waldrum earlier in the week, he said shooting the ball is certainly something this team prides itself upon, and it spent a lot of time in years past working on that transitional game, and they take a lot of pride in keeping possession and sort of working out of the back and building up those opportunities and taking advantage of them wherever they can get them, and they've certainly done so this year. Crosser into the box again, loose ball in front, nobody home for Pitt to clean it up though, and Wake able to clear it out. Hannah Johnson steers that one out of play. Came into the game as a substitute for Wake Forest. Here you see Randy Waldrum has done such a nice job with this program in years, just to build this established core, making their first ever NCAA tournament appearance last year, and has really just continued that success into 2023. About trying to get the cross through there, but unable to do so, and it'll be a corner for the Panthers.
You know, going back to Randy Waldrum and what he's done to really build this program. I mean, Rome wasn't built in a day, and he proved that. And now teams like Boston College, Virginia are kind of in the situation Pitt was a couple years ago. Just seeing the growth from this team and seeing history being broken last year, being broken again this year with that win against Duke, just gives you a lot of hope.
Szczepanski into the box, head on that one, and that one goes just over the net from Amanda West. You see a Pitt team that has taken a lot of set-piece opportunities this year, especially corner kicks, ranked first in the country with the most corner kicks, just over 9 per game, and they just missed converting there.
Yeah, Amanda West is in good spot there to get her head on that. Just couldn't get it low enough, but she's looking for it. She's looking for that goal.
It's really a matter of when, not if, for Amanda West. She will get back on the score sheet at some point, just getting close, but no cigar so far for her.
You know, you talk about those fun facts that you learn about players like Amanda West. She has more goals just at home at Ambrose Urbanic Field than any other player in Pitt's entire history does, home or away. So that just tells you how much she loves scoring here. And you know before this road stretch comes, she's going to want to find one more.
Those kind of things always look like a misprint, but you look at the career of Amanda West and you realize that's really how she plays. She's really that good.
Well, like you said, I mean, the record book should just be named after her at this point. She holds so many, most points, most goals. She broke that goal record when she was just a junior. Last year, she unfortunately tore her ACL the beginning of ACC play, and she still was one of the top 3 leading goal scorers last year. As you see on the box there, 45 goals in her career at Pitt, 26 assists, 116 points. She's just such a good player in this program. She's in her 5th year. They need to figure out what they're going to do without her.
Left side, Szczepanski shot there. Goes just high and wide. So another opportunity for the Panthers goes by the wayside. Off the foot of Sarah Szczepanski. Someone who we've talked about was sort of that A1 attacker for Pitt last year with Amanda West out. You see the opportunity again here, going just high and wide of the post. But as West has come back, it's taken some time for the two to get their bearings, but both have continued right where they left off, putting up just ridiculous numbers on the season for the Panthers.
Well, and it's good for Pitt as well, too, because now you don't just have, 2-3 defenders surrounding Amanda West. You got to have them surrounding Samaya Fury and Sarah Szczepanski, Chloe Minas as well, and about another player who doesn't get her dues all the time.
Loose ball in the box, that one off the post. West trying to clean it up, and Bout finishes the job to make it 1-0 Pitt.
And we were just talking about her, Anna Bout. She scored against Duke. She's been looking to get more regular minutes, and she's doing it with plays like this. That Canadian connection comes through once again. Amanda West doesn't get her foot on the ball in the initial attempt.
Bit of a wacky play here. This ball just kind of sat in the crease for a minute. Amanda West had a chance as it just kind of stopped on that near post. But Anna Bout able to clean up the damage and put Pitt up 1.
Well, and it seemed too like the goalkeeper came out and was just kind of like trying to make herself big, look a little bit more threatening. Amanda West kind of stutter stepping there so she doesn't run into the goalkeeper and pick up that foul. Anna Bout, she's just in the right place at the right time. She has always been, I like to call her the utility player for Pitt. She will do whatever it takes. Amanda West was like an inch off of that being her goal, but you know she's happy for her Canadian teammate as well. As you can see the team all celebrating.
And you talk about this forward depth for Pitt. Anna Bout's got 4 goals herself, and she's not really one of the names that comes right to the top of your head when you think about this forward group, but she has been extremely strong this year, coming off the bench today and making an impact to put Pitt up 1.
Anna Bout has looked really good in this homestand, and again, that only helps Pitt because so many different players with just goals out the wazoo. Anna Bout with 4, Deborah Abiodun with 4, 2 players with 6, Sarah Shapansky with 8. It's almost like defenses are like, well, who do we cover? Who do we, like, we don't have enough people to cover at this point.
Talking to Tony DeLuz earlier in the week, I asked, what was the biggest thing that you had to watch out for Pitt coming into this game? And without missing a beat, he said that group of forwards, it's going to be as good as anyone we go up against in the country this year. And they're showing why today. Another chance here. Mertz trying to cross it in the box for West. Can't find her. Pops back out to Caulfield, who will take some time to gather. Nice play there from Johnson to take away from Bout. Shot 6-1 in favor of the Panthers. 4 of those on goal for Pitt. So continuing on that MO of getting balls to the net and having success doing so. More subs for the Panthers. It'll be Minas coming out. Looks like Fleming Dean coming on in that midfield spot.
Nice to see Fleming Dean back. She missed the Duke game with a little bit of an injury. Chloe Minas getting a break. She started to cramp up a little bit after the Duke game toward the last minute. Thankfully wasn't an injury. I told her after the game, you gave me a little bit of a startle there, especially after missing last year with the injury that shall not be named. But giving these starters a little bit of a break. Again, these ACC games are just so condensed. So Pitt, look for them to sub and look for them to sub often. But I don't think this young lady right here, Landy Mertz, is going to be getting out anytime soon. She just controls that right side of the flank in every game that she plays in. Soccer runs in the family last night. Her brother, Robbie Mertz, and his team, the Pittsburgh Riverhounds, winning the USL Players' Shield, is the team with the best record in the USL. So congratulations to them. And Landy's brother, always a fixture at these games, and she's always a fixture at the Riverhounds games. So soccer just runs in that family's blood.
Dean Crosser doesn't get through. Going back to the Mertzes real quick, certainly a soccer-based family there, both playing in Pittsburgh. Mertz, someone who transferred over from Dayton earlier on in her career, has really become a key piece in this rebuild of this Pitt program. Obviously last year having their best season in program history. She was a big part of that and has been here for a few years now to sort of establish that culture and sort of build for the future of this program.
Yeah, I don't think it took Landy Mertz too much to come into this program and want to transfer in. Again, you know, for families here, her brother's playing professionally here. she loves Pittsburgh and she loves this team. And I remember last year talking to her, she said, I am most definitely coming back for my 5th year after making it so close and yet so far in the ACC and the NCAA tournament. She said there's more work to be done and I want to be a part of it. She has been such a key player since she came here from Dayton. Pittsburgh's not really a team that transfers and gets too many transfers. They'll get 1 or 2, maybe 3 a year. But Landy Mertz, Samaya Fury, just some transfers that have made big impacts for this team in recent years.
See Amanda West coming off there with just over 10 minutes to go in this first half of play. Lucia Wells on for Pitt, another one of these freshmen. And she's looked really good in her time. Obviously kind of jammed up in that forward rotation. Not going to get as much playing time as some of the bigger names, but she looks like a really promising player for the future. Moves the ball well and plays with pace up top for Pitt. There she is in possession now, going up the left side. Can't find Szczepanski there, as Wake will get the throw in.
Lucia Wells and Deb Abiodun, part of that 15-player freshman class. Another big group for Randy Waldrum to work with, to cultivate, to get them up to speed in these ACC games. And yes, giving them time, and these games are so important.
And it's really even better when you have that established foundation of Szczepanski, West, Mertz, all these players who can help provide depth, and also when you bring in a freshman class like that, can really help guide them into leading the program after their departure.
Well, and look at that back line too. Ashton Gordon's the lone senior, and she's got a sophomore on her right, and she's got a freshman on her left in Olivia Lee. And behind her, she is a sophomore in goal. So really, I talked to Ellie Breach a couple of days ago and said, how much are you relying on a player like Ashton Gordon to help you? And she said she does everything. She's amazing, and she helps me become a better goalkeeper.
9 of 11 players returning from that NCAA tournament run in the starting 11 last year. It really helps out when you have that kind of season. Keeping that kind of turnover really helps you sort of retain that momentum on into this year, and that's exactly what Pitt's done so far. Flag goes up there on Szczepanski. But you can feel it. It's a complete shift in the way this program has been operated, and this is a program now where you can really see them having success for years to come.
And it's a program now where people want to come and play. I mean, the recruitment has been so much better. We talked to Coach Waldrum about, RPI and rankings and whatnot, and he said, of course we want to be ranked and respected, and not just the ACC, but the NCAA overall, but also the ranking helps us with recruiting as well. There are players who want to come to Pitt, where a couple years ago, a lot of people saw Pitt as just an okay team, a near bottom table of the team, and the tables have turned over the past couple of years.
Pitt, a team that was ranked 14th coming into the season, but has somewhat mysteriously dropped out of the rankings. They're winning these games, obviously a bad loss on the road against Louisville, but still a team that's really looked good throughout the entire year and has kind of strangely dropped out of the rankings, as Abby Oden's going to get a yellow there, it looks like. So going back to what you were talking about earlier, if there's one sort of aspect of Deborah Abby Oden's game that she needs to maybe clean up on a little bit, she's a little bit physical at times. We've seen her pick up a couple cards so far this season. Does so again there. Yeah,
she's talked about that, and she's well aware that, she's a young player. She has a lot to learn, and again, growing up in Nigeria and having to play with boys pretty much her entire life, she learned she had to be physical, and now being here in the college program with Randy Waldrum, Ben Waldrum, and now Jessie Goldman, learning to play a little bit more tactically instead of physically all the time.
Mertz with a lot of green in front of her. Szczepanski now up the wing, looking for some space. Working inside that 18-yard box. Shot goes on goal, but Howard in good position to bring that one in. 7th shot on the afternoon for the Panthers, 5th on goal.
I like the idea, but I think Landy Mertz had enough room to take that ball to the outside and cross it in. Sarah Szczepanski making a run more toward goal would have been a more probable use of the ball. But they're keeping Madison Howard quite busy. I don't know about you, but I love when players wear 00, so I have to say I'm a fan of Madison Howard. I don't know why, it's
certainly a different look.
It
you don't see it a whole
is.
lot. It does get confusing, though, where you have sometimes these teams have a 0 and a 00, and it's like, okay, maybe that's a little much, but 00 is certainly a look there from Madison Howard in net.
And she's had a good game, and she's the reason why Wake Forest is not down maybe 2-3-0 right now. Really strong showing from her today. I think she's going to appreciate the halftime break because right now Pitt has all of the momentum.
Howard, the senior from Greensboro, North Carolina, someone who really didn't play much at all prior to this season, but waited her turn in that line of Wake Forest goalkeepers and is now getting her chance to hold down the fort in her senior season. Pitt throw-in coming here. A few more subs for the Panthers. Looks like Dizek will come on in the final 5 of this first half.
Oh, what a
Right
ball.
side for West. Got some space in front of her. Nice job by the Wake Forest defense sort of pinching back there, but West looking for, Mertz looking for room to her right. Gets that one on again, and Howard makes the save.
I think that was Caulfield with the ball, but that was just a gorgeous cross. Sarah Shapansky, excuse me. Down to that right side for Mertz. Nice little move there. She gets a good shot off. Goalkeeper just in the right position.
And that back line for Wake Forest, them getting back there probably prevented a goal. Doing a nice job in that transitional defense. Wake still yet to register a shot on goal. Pitt with 6 of their own. Granted, some of them haven't been the most advantageous scoring opportunities, but they're making Howard work early. And they've got a 1-0 lead to show for it here in the final 5 of this first period of play.
This is one of those rare games where you don't see a lot of corner kicks and free kicks for the Panthers. Wake Forest has a strong defense, and they're showing it off today, not giving up easy corners. Duke gave a lot of easy corners the other day, and Boston College a week ago as well. Wake Forest a little bit more disciplined in their defensive play.
Aaliyah Gomes now coming on for Pitt at the end of this first half here. And she'll take possession. Gomes, one of several Pitt players from Canada, coming in for Landy Mertz. And before the half, Rachel, how would you evaluate this Pitt play so far? It seems like they're checking a lot of boxes on that game plan coming into the game.
Yeah, I think they're just sticking to their game plan of getting the ball up to Mertz on that right side. As you said, she's getting a little bit of a break here before the second half. But I think Pitt has done really well with attacking and also their defense, but more than their defense, just the midfield, winning balls and retaining possession and not really giving up anything easy. I haven't seen Ashton Gordon and Katie Zalesky have to make many stops. It's the midfield making the stop before it gets the ball gets down to them. For Wake Forest, I personally am not a fan of these lone striker formations. I don't think they work. I don't like the idea of leaving your striker out in no man's land by herself, and I think, we talked a little bit before the game started about how what's their lineup going to look like? What is their formation going to look like? And yes, they changed it on Thursday night against Syracuse. And I think if I'm Tony DeLuz, I'm going to change, maybe get 2 strikers up there, give them a chance to get the ball downfield and not have to worry about 2v3 defenders.
It certainly changes, too, when you're down a goal and you have that one striker up there. You got to make up the deficit somehow. And I wouldn't be surprised, like you said, to see Wake Forest try and push forward a little bit more in the second half.
Yeah, this isn't a big lead by any margin at all. All it takes is one opportunity, and I think this is going to be a game where the beginning of the second half is really going to mean a lot.
Gomes pushing play up the right side. Gets another Pitt corner here with just over a minute to play in the first half. So the third corner of the day for the Panthers. And an opportunity to go up 2 here just before the half. Szczepanski to take it. Gordon trying to get ahead on that one there, but it pops out. Now with Anna Swanson up the right side. Swanson still in possession. Looking for Olivia Stoll, who had some room in front of her there, but couldn't get the pass across as we reach the 1-minute mark remaining here in the first half.
Katie Zalski just showed us some just absolutely stellar speed, getting up there for that corner kick and then running all the way back to get that interception. So Wake Forest couldn't have the opportunity for a counterattack.
Operating in transition, certainly something both of these teams take pride in. Nice play there from Johnson to break that one up. Szczepanski had some room there on the right side potentially, but nothing doing there thanks to the defensive play of the Deacons. Dempsey Brown back to Chavoshi.
Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4.
And we will wrap up this first half of play. 1-0 in favor of the Panthers. That Anna Bout goal, the difference so far, Rachel.
Yeah, Anna Bout's goal was just very heads-up play. Amanda West, she was about an inch or two off from getting her foot on the ball, and Bout there to clean it up.
Here against Wake Forest, who will start in possession. As you mentioned, probably a need for adjustment here in the second half, especially up top for the Demon Deacons.
Yeah, again, I just don't really see the benefit of a lone striker formation. It doesn't really help to leave your striker out in no man's land with really no help. Kaya Hanks needs a little bit of help, a little bit of assistance up top, because she is being flanked early and often by Ashton Gordon, Katie Zalski, and Olivia Lee, those 3 defenders.
We saw Hannah Johnson come in earlier for Wake Forest in that first half. She stays on to start things off in the second half. Part of that Wake Forest forward group will be looking to add a little bit more pressure on the Panthers here in the second half. West up the left side. Chavoshi clearing that one out, and a Pitt throw-in coming on the near side of the field. Szczepanski jostles there, leaves for Minas on the outside. Gives back to Caulfield and then around the back to Zalski. And as we mentioned earlier on, that Pitt midfield doing a really good job. We haven't really seen the defenders for Pitt do all that much because they really haven't had to so far.
No, players like Ellie Caulfield, Kira Mellenhorst, and About now slotting in there to start the second half. Just really putting all kinds of pressure on these Wake Forest attackers, giving their defense a little bit of a reprieve.
Here's Chavoshi. Tried to get that cross there to Small, but couldn't find her. Thanks to the defensive play of Pitt. Whistle blows here now. Swanson gets fouled. And Wake Forest will have a set-piece opportunity to get things started here in the second half of play. Limited opportunities for the Demon Deacons in the first half, trying to even it up here. The free kick and an advantageous opportunity just over a couple minutes in to half number 2.
Well, and Pitt knows all it takes is one opportunity as everybody is back.
Morris goes directly on goal there. That one, a little bit of an optical illusion there. It went over the net, not into the net.
Yeah, it almost, I had to double take for a second to see where that was going, but when in doubt, if Ellie Breach is standing still, I'm trusting her judgment.
I was going to say there, I was like, why is nobody reacting to this? It looked like it went in for a second, but it did not, in fact. It hit that little back stanchion there behind Ellie Breach.
Well, nice heads-up play from Breach to not get her hand on it and potentially give up a corner kick. Another set-piece opportunity for the Demon Deacons.
We haven't talked about Breach a ton today, but this Pitt team, someone who's usually started a senior or a junior, an older goaltender, Breach getting an opportunity to really hold down the fort this year. We talked about her performance against Florida State last year, really kind of thrown into the fire in the early part of her career. Now in her sophomore season, seems to be finding her footing really well here with Pitt.
Yeah, and Randy Waldrum had said multiple times last year that he trusts Ellie Breach learning and sitting behind former goalkeeper, senior last year, Caitlin Lazzarini. She learned a lot from her. Now Jessie Goldman, who was promoted to an assistant coach and goalkeeper coach this season, as Amanda West gets a breakaway here.
West working up the left side, cutting back to the middle, down to Szczepanski on the low post.
Szczepanski, she was a bit offside there. Correct call from the referee.
Seen it a few times now for the Panthers, maybe just a half step too quick on the attack. And yep, definitely offsides there from Szczepanski. Got a little ahead of herself behind that back line of Wake Forest.
Amanda West draws in 3-4 defenders. They know what she can do. They know the type of goal-scoring threat that she possesses.
See Emily Murphy up top there for Wake Forest, number 35, wearing the captain's armband. The junior from Windsor, England. Has created some strong chances throughout the game against Syracuse, but just couldn't finish there. Finished with a career high of 6 shots, but no goals for her. Also spent time with Chelsea and Arsenal, a couple big names in the development programs back in England. Someone who transferred from UNC last year. Also was invited to the Irish national team, a senior training session with them a couple of years ago.
That was a stellar play on that sideline there from Sarah Szczepanski to keep that ball in play.
Mellenhorst tried to get a shot off there. Doesn't get through though. Mellenhorst, not someone who's necessarily known for her goal scoring. Does have one this year though. She scored her first career goal against Bowling Green a little over a month ago.
I want to go back to that point too about Ellie Breach and not really having too much to do in this match. The sign of a good goalkeeper is someone who isn't tested that often, and whenever a team like, in this case, Wake Forest, if they get a potential counter opportunity, the sign of a great goalkeeper is one who can come up with that big save, and Ellie Breach has done that in a couple games this year already, making big save after big save. So she needs to stay alert back there. She hasn't had too much to do today, but again, all it takes is one opportunity and one counter attack. Demon Deacons have come out in this second half physical, getting down the field a lot more, winning these balls, kind of frustrating Pitt a little bit. Pitt really needing to dig back into what worked for them in that first half and just play their game. They look a little bit frustrated right now.
Here's Murphy, nice play from West to close that pass off. A chance here now for Small. Trying to get around Mertz and others. Back to Murphy, over to Brown. Dempsey Brown tries to get a shot off. That one blocked by Bout. Now into the corner with Johnson. Johnson one-on-one with Lee. Sliding crosser there, gets through, but nobody home to clean it up for Wake Forest. Now on the outside, Mertz jostling there for possession, and she wins it. And the Panthers the other way now. Szczepanski up top, numbers still waiting. So pretty nice job there. It seems like Wake Forest has come out with a little bit more life so far here in the second half of play for sure.
Yeah, I think so, and I think they changed that formation a little bit, leaving 2-3 strikers up top, trying to find that equalizing goal. But definitely have come out with a bit more bite than in the first half.
We saw before the break, Pitt, a team that's very good at holding leads in the second half. Wake, a team that hasn't really had success coming back from deficits in the final 45. Johnson here on the outside with Gordon. Really nice play though from Ashton Gordon to get it away from her. Gordon wants a goal kick, but it will be a corner for Wake Forest. And another opportunity off a set piece potentially here. Just under 10 minutes into the second half of play. Looks like it'll be Anna Swanson to take it. Swanson, the junior from Santa Fe, New Mexico. Redshirted after her freshman season and played in just 5 games last year, but has been highly effective as a substitute in 2023. Has also scored in 2 of her last 3 games. Trying to deliver a good ball into the box here. Nice play from Breach coming off her line to bring it in.
That was a really nice ball. A ton of Demon Deacons in the box there trying to get their heads on it. Aiming right for number 34 there. Laurel Ansbro.
Breach, as we mentioned, just done everything she's needed to do today, and that was a big thing that Randy Waldrum emphasized about her. She said we don't need to make, he said we don't need her to make all the spectacular saves, but as long as she does what she's supposed to do in net, this is going to be a team that has a lot of success. He said she's come a really long way since last year and has really emphasized being consistent. Also credited someone we've mentioned on the broadcast a few times already, Jessie Goldman, in really developing her well. You look around like baseball and things like that, these pitching coaches and positional coaches who have a really big impact on the development of players, it seems like Goldman's having that same kind of impact with Breach.
Yeah, I think there's a reason why he got promoted, of course, and Jessie Goldman has been with this team for, I believe this is his 3rd season now, first as a kind of tenured assistant coach, if you will, but he has been working really hard with this group of goalkeepers. He had Breach last year, has her again this year. They highly respect Jessie Goldman. He respects his goalkeepers. They work hard under him.
Shapansky, crosser, looking for West, and she comes so close yet again.
I understand what Amanda West is trying to do with trying to get the head on the... It was a low kick, though.
Want that touch to be on your foot, you think?
Yeah, I think so. I think getting it on the inside of your foot, even settling it with your foot and then cutting in and taking a strike. But I understand what she's trying to do there. I don't think she expected the cross to be that low. I think she was expecting it to be a little bit higher.
And you really hate to use the word drought because it really isn't for most people. It's 4 games, but at the same time, do you think Amanda West might be fine-tuning a few too many things about her game, like trying to be too precise and not just letting it kind of flow like she usually does?
I think so, but at the same time, also in the last couple of games, she's looked very lively. She has gotten those shots off. She has gotten really nice looks at the net. They just she's A, been playing against some really good goalkeepers, and B, she just hasn't gotten them in the back of the net. She doesn't have a problem with taking those shots. It's just they're not finding the back of the net right now, and I don't know if it's a fine-tune issue or she's just playing against some really good goalkeepers. But Amanda West, you know, she wants the goal. She wants to get back on that scoring sheet. Hasn't scored since that September 17th game against North Carolina State, and she's hungry for it.
And it's hard to imagine that this Pitt team's really leaving much on the table. Obviously, Amanda West, still an extremely strong player. A little bit of a drought now, but there's a few of these stats you look around. Landy Mertz, for example, 35 shots this year, just 1 goal. So if you think about it, if Water kind of finds its level with West and Mertz and that whole attacking group, this is going to be a team that scores a lot of goals in the latter half of the season. Yeah,
I completely agree. And I mean, it's a good problem to have that Amanda West, she has this quote-unquote drought, as we say, but she's still second in the team in goals with Samaya Fury now, both of them having 6 goals. It's such a good problem to have whenever you have the wealth being spread. But still, these other teams in the ACC, Wake Forest, Boston College, Duke, in these last couple games, just completely surrounding her, not letting her get easy shots off. These teams might see, okay, well, she hasn't scored against NC State. She hasn't scored since mid-September. But we know that she can score, and they still respect her highly. That respect doesn't go away.
Good chance here for Murphy. Moving into the box. Shot goes on and in. Wake Forest ties it up. And it's Murphy.
All it takes is that one opportunity. Murphy finds the back of the net. I think the referee has been a little conservative with his whistle. I don't really understand how this isn't a foul as Olivia Lee goes to ground. She's kind of shoved to the ground there.
Yeah, certainly looked like there was some contact in the box, but no whistle blows, and Emily Murphy picks up a huge goal. We've been talking about this Pitt attack because they've been so dominant over the course of the game, but just like that, Wake Forest is back level at 1.
And Wake Forest has completely owned the second half. It's only been about 13 minutes or so, but this has been an entirely new Deegan Demons team. Pitt quickly getting Samaya Fury warmed up there. As you see on the left side of your screen, they need a goal, and they need it fast.
Murphy now with a half-dozen goals on the season. And the urgency just went up a little bit for the Panthers. Into the box, looking for Bout again. Loose for a second, but nobody around as Howard picks that one up. Let's go back to the goal again here, Rachel.
I mean, it's a good run and it's a good opportunity, but again, I just don't understand how that's not a foul, as Murphy kind of gives a little extra push to Olivia Lee, sending her to the ground. I'm surprised the referee didn't want to take a second look at that.
Certainly will be something that gets talked about if this result holds. Murphy, the UNC transfer. That's a really big goal for Wake Forest. Now, here's the question. Do we see them sort of transition back into that defensive focus, or do you think they still try and, push numbers forward and continue on the approach that they've started in the second half? Because they've had a lot of success with it so far.
Well, I think Wake Forest is really looking for a win against one of these stronger ACC teams. No disrespect to Virginia, but getting a win against bottom table teams. They haven't really been tested too much in the ACC so far at the beginning of this conference play. Pitt is really one of the stronger teams that they have been up against, along with Notre Dame. They fell to Notre Dame in the beginning of ACC play. So I think, I don't know per se if the Demon Deacons are going to put their foot off of the gas. I think that they're going to want that second goal, but at the same time, I think they know too, Pitt is a strong team in that forward department, but in this second half, they pretty much kept them quiet, save for that one chance with Amanda West and the potential header.
Here's Emily Morris now working on a few Panthers on the far side of the field. Back the other way now, the Panthers with Szczepanski. Waiting for reinforcements. They do arrive, and Szczepanski works her way back to the middle of the field. Tripped up there, whistle blows, and Pitt will get a free kick.
This has been such a physical game, and I think, referees are human beings, but if you're going to blow your whistle, you need to do it consistently, and you need to do it for both sides. There's been a couple opportunities where Pitt's been physical, but Wake Forest has been pretty much getting the whistle blown on them often. There's a couple that they've seen their lucky stars that they didn't get that whistle.
Szczepanski into the box. Zalski, the closest Panther there. That one hops in on Howard with no trouble really there. Samaya Fury waiting at the scorer's table to sub into the game for the Panthers at the next stoppage. Nice play from Minas to keep control with that first touch there off to Bout. Back to Minas, one-touch pass, trying to go inside there from Mellenhorst. Can't find her, though, and it goes back out to Bout. Amanda West. In the middle of 3 Wake Forest defenders, finds some open space with Bout on the outside. Bout, crosser, in, can't find West. Emily Murphy now for Wake Forest. Demon Deacons certainly gaining some more control here in the second half of play. Michaela Small.
Oh, nice play from Kira Mellenhorst to win that ball. I know there's urgency for Pitt here to score, and I understand that, but I think they need to build their possession as well and get a little bit of confidence with some of these passes.
We haven't really seen Pitt need to build from the back much at all today due to the possession advantage that they've had, especially in that first half. But you got to think they're getting a little bit antsy on offense maybe here after that equalizer from Murphy.
I think so, and I think they're just trying to figure out right now how to break down this Wake Forest midfield, because the whole first half we were talking about the strength of Pitt's midfield and how they've pretty much been leaving their defenders with not a lot of work, but this second half has just been all Wake Forest, especially in that midfield.
Nikayla Small back to Javoshi. Minas once again with the intercept in the midfield there. She's been really strong so far today. Certainly not something that's a rarity for this Panthers team, but you're missing Abby Oden at full strength at least, and you've gotten really good play from your midfielders, especially 15 and white. This one goes out of play, and it looks like we'll get a Pitt corner. Szczepanski to take again here. And we've talked about on this broadcast so far just the immense opportunities that Pitt has had off corners over the course of the season. They've had a lot of success with them as well. Mellenhorst off, Fury on for the corner.
I was just about to say, look who's coming in too to add that reinforcement. And
not a bad person to have on.
And I think too, if this game stays tied around the 70th minute or so, you see Deborah Abioden come in, because she has been really good on corner kicks as well.
Gordon trying to put that one on. Looked like a bit of a scramble at the net front for a second. That ball had a lot of air under it from Szczepanski, and it does finally get poked out by Wake Forest. Pitt still in possession though. Szczepanski to Lee. Small off to Dempsey Brown now on the right side with Anna Swanson. Swanson one-on-one Zalesky. Zalesky does a really nice job of closing her off, and it will go out of play for a corner kick. Another look at the corner here. Zalesky had an opportunity, it looked like there, to get ahead on it, but just couldn't reach it up there with a few Wake Forest defenders around her.
Yeah, and I like that shot from Ashton Gordon too, keeping it nice and low and really just making the goalkeeper guess where it's supposed to go with all that traffic. The worst thing for a goalkeeper is to not know where that ball is. Thankfully, she had a defender in front of her who deflected it away.
Ball in now for Wake. Bit of a scramble there in front. Loose ball gets cleared out by the Panthers, though. Another opportunity for Wake off the set piece, and now Mertz going the other way with numbers. Good touch from her to clear it upfield, and she's got Szczepanski on her right. Johnson dropping back. Szczepanski in the middle of the field. An opportunity for Pitt to go up one. Szczepanski stops and puts it in. Patience and precision from Sarah Szczepanski makes it 2-1 Pitt.
Wow, I mean, I'm honestly speechless. I'm sitting here almost screaming, shoot the ball, shoot the ball, shoot the ball. But the patience pays off. She's a lot more patient than me, Zach. I don't know if I would have waited that long. Makes the goalkeeper come off of her line. I don't mind that move from Howard. She looked like she was committed to it 100%. She had her hands out going to get the ball, but just too good here. I mean, this is...
And the hustle from Mertz.
This is just completely unselfish from Landy Mertz. She could have taken that shot. You know she wants them. This move is just absolutely clinical.
Throws on the brakes and gets Johnson jumping out in front of her, and Pitt is back out to a 1-goal lead. Talk about getting momentum back. That goal in transition, just the way to do it. And Landy Mertz with a well-earned assist.
That is Sarah Szczepanski's 9th goal of the year, and what a time to score too. This place just erupted when Sarah Szczepanski put that in the back of the net. But I can't, I have to go back to Landy Mertz. That is just as unselfish as unselfish can be. And
fighting through the contact too.
Extremely. I mean, this has been an extremely physical game. I think this is the most physical game that Pitt has played this entire year. And just the composure she has to fight through that contact, get back up, hustle, and get down there. I mean, this is a player who has played almost every minute, of the last couple games, and she is just hustling out there like she just stepped on for the first time after a 2-week vacation.
Here's Fury with a little room to work. Caulfield from right where she scored before, shoots that one there, deflected, and it looks like Howard got the last touch on that one, so that'll be another corner for the Panthers. Another look at that goal that put Pitt up 1. Unbelievable work here from Szczepanski. This move just clinical.
That cutback is just absolutely filthy. That is a veteran move from a young player like Sarah Szczepanski. She's a junior this year. She's got a couple veteran players ahead of her, but that is going to be on a highlight reel for a long time coming, and maybe SportsCenter will be watching and put that on their top 10 because that was impressive.
Corner kick opportunity here cleared out there as far as Mertz. And another thing to keep in account there, it's against Kristen Johnson too, who is by all accounts one of the better defenders in the ACC.
Yeah, Kristen Johnson is a fantastic talent for Wake Forest in the ACC. Just, I don't know if she was expecting. I think she was expecting what everybody else was. Yeah, for her to shoot the ball, and if she would have shot it, I think Johnson gets that stop, but just a clinical cutback move from Sarah Szczepanski.
That's not even, like you said, that's not even a bad play from Johnson. That's just a fantastic move by Sarah Szczepanski. Murphy turns it over, Szczepanski again. Pitt working up the flanks once again with Mertz. Crosser trying to find Fury in the middle. Nice play defensively there by Laurel Ansborough. Seen her a few times now on the back line for Wake Forest. Another effective play there as Wake tries to work the other way with numbers in Nakia Small. Really has gone back and forth. We saw the first part of this second half. That momentum really seemed to sway in the direction of the Demon Deacons, but the Panthers responding and sort of taking a little bit of control back on that attack.
I think this is one of those weird games too that I don't think the momentum right now is in anybody's favor. There's just so much back and forth and just good opportunities. As Wake Forest gets a set piece opportunity here off an Ellie Caulfield foul. But this game has just been back and forth and back and forth. And once again, we go back to the time here where it just takes one opportunity as you see the foul there.
This game really has had it all. It's been end-to-end, it's been physical, and both teams showing their strengths. Mertz again the other way. Fury doing a nice job there holding off. Keeps the flag down for the time being. Trying to chase that one down though in the corner and can't reach it as it goes out of play.
Amanda West was over here on this left side saying, I'm open, I'm open, I'm open. I don't think Landy Mertz really had a clear lane or an opportunity.
It'll be Howard to take it in goal for Wake Forest. And she's done a really nice job today, Howard has in net. A couple really tough opportunities that she let in from the Panthers, but overall her body of work has been solid.
Yeah, and I think we've said that in the last couple games with a lot of the goalkeepers that have come to town for Boston College. You have Vitka Willebrandt, the German goalkeeper, Duke, Leah Freeman, the transfer from Oregon, just really solid goalkeepers, but just better opportunities for the Panthers.
West, crosser. Can't find Szczepanski there. Back out to Bout. Shot goes just wide. Bout making a bid for number 2.
And just another unselfish play here from the Panthers as Amanda West takes the cross. That's Sarah Szczepanski. She lays it off. That is a nice ball from Szczepanski to Bout. Just too much traffic, I think, in front of Anna Bout to get a good clean shot off, but it goes a little bit wide. It's still a good opportunity, and it makes the goalkeeper work.
Up the left side now, Small. He's got Murphy and Johnson on her right. Johnson trying to chase that one down. A really nice play by Breach to come off her line again.
One thing that you had mentioned a little bit earlier, Zach, whenever Wake Forest got the equalizer is, okay, are they going to sit back a little bit more defensively now? Well, I think Pitt is sitting back a bit more defensively. Chloe Minos in this 3-4-3 usually pushes up more into that attacking midfield role. Her and Ellie Caulfield are pretty much sticking behind on defense and letting Szczepanski get up. They know Wake Forest has the opportunity for a good counterattack, and they've been winning plenty of free kicks.
That's a good point you make, too. I feel like we saw Caulfield playing behind the ball a lot in the first half as well, but it seems like Minas kind of jumped back and joined her there in the second half of play.
Yeah, and I think you need to, and those two players, they obviously bring a lot of leadership too. Ellie Caulfield just last year gave her so much leadership experience when she had to slot in with those ACL tears with West and Minas. And Minas, the true senior on this team, she was the only one honored on senior day a couple weeks ago.
Called it Chloe Minas Day because there was no other seniors that they were honoring because all of them are 5th years or still juniors. So it was a bit of an interesting situation, but certainly a fun day there.
Yeah, and she brings a lot of leadership to this team. Even last year, whenever she was out for the year, Chloe Minas was always the one barking out directions on that sideline, you know, encouraging her players. And last year, the 2 missing captains, I mean, and to think they were missing their leading goal scorer, the person that the record book is named after, and then they were missing their midfield just star, and they still made the NCAA tournament and the ACC tournament. It's the expectation now for this group that they expect to win games and be there.
Chloe Minas is just such a fun player to watch play. I mean, she'll play 90 minutes and still be an Energizer bunny out there. It's unbelievable. I get tired watching her up here in the box, and she's still running around. Here's Johnson now with some space. Pretty ambitious cross there. Gets through, though, but nobody home for Wake Forest to try and push forward more.
Yeah, and that was a good poke away from Anna Bout. Not letting Wake Forest get the ball specifically. It was targeting Dempsey Brown, which by the name is a fantastic name.
I was thinking that, too, and I was like, that's such a cool name.
I wonder if her parents are Fulham fans.
For a soccer player, too. Doesn't wear number 8, but still. This one out as far as Caulfield. It's Murphy and Fury tying up there. Murphy wins the battle, though. Goes back to the outside with Emily Morris.
Yeah, and look who's getting instruction on that sideline, walking with assistant coach Ben Waldrum, Deborah Abiodun. She's looking to come in and help this midfield. Abiodun's going to try to help retain possession a little bit. I think she'll be one of those players, too, that slots down and helps a little bit defensively. But she has to watch out. She's on that yellow card.
Yep. I was going to say, she's playing on that yellow, but certainly with fresh legs coming off the bench, you really feel like she can help Pitt down the stretch here and hold on to this lead.
Well, and, you know, doubling down on those fresh legs, she didn't play at all against Duke, so she has extra fresh legs.
Especially in a game that's been end-to-end like this, that can be really valuable in the last 15 minutes. West has that one taken away. Johnson looking for real estate back up the right side. Nice play from West. Someone lost a shin guard there, but West moving the other way regardless. Makes a nice move there to the middle. That one deflected. Out for Fury with some space. Mertz regathers, though, just on the outside of the 18-yard box. But again, the flag goes up for the Panthers. A lot of offsides today for Pitt.
Yeah, but it shows that they're just getting, they want to get that 3rd goal. They want to give themselves a little bit of breathing room.
Crossfield pass looking for Swanson there, but it finds Olivia Lee. So with just under 15 minutes to go, you got 2 teams looking to do a little bit different things going forward here. Small takes possession on the outside of the box. Back to that thought in a minute here. Nice play by Caulfield. You're looking for Pitt trying to hold this lead, but Wake Forest doing something they're not necessarily super comfortable with and pushing the pace a little bit. As West goes forward now, Fury on her right. West gets a shot on and a diving save made there by Howard.
That was a good-looking shot with a lot of pressure on her. Got to give credit to Wake Forest's defense for pretty much shutting down Amanda West in this game. Not an easy task to do, as any of these ACC teams know. But a lot of pressure there. Said it before, we'll say it again. Amanda West wants that goal. And she's doing everything in her power. And that would be her missing shin guard. I think she lost the second one on the, on a previous play, so.
Going back to pick that one up now. Ball kind of pops right back out to her as she was putting it on. Whistle blows there, and Wake Forest gets some time and space. Full speed ahead for Wake Forest here. Under 15 minutes left to try and tie this game up. Left side with Morris. Zalski on her. Another nice play from Bout to intercept. She has had a really solid day on both sides of the ball. Now West again working up the left wing. Trying to beat Chavoshi in a foot race. Can't do so. Nice play by 24 in gold. She's been strong on the back line there again for Wake Forest. Murphy. Trying to get inside on Zalski. Can't do so, but pushes the ball back to the outside with Dempsey as that one just misses high. Dempsey Brown just missing that high post there from a ways out, but an opportunity there nonetheless. And here comes Abiodun back on for the Panthers along with Mellenhorst. It'll be for Bout and West who come out.
I think Amanda West is just going to be given a little bit of a breather here, and then I think she's going to try to come back in. We saw that happen against Duke. She was taken out about 15 minutes or so left in the game. She gets back in there. Deborah Abiodun, as you just saw, Nigerian women's national team, getting some just incredible experience at the Women's World Cup, playing against host Australia, reigning gold medalist Canada. I mean, that should just say it all right there.
I mean, you talk about getting these freshmen some experiences, trying to get their feet wet in sort of ACC play, which is very tough. And it's like, how about you play England in the World Cup?
Runner-ups of the tournament, not like it's a easy task or anything.
Came very close to knocking out England as well. Fury working into the box. Fury still in possession, but loses it there at the end. Nice play by Ansbro and others. That one goes out of play though, and Pitt will get a corner again.
I think Samaya Fury was trying to do her best Sarah Shapansky impression, kind of
throwing on the brakes a little bit.
Yeah, faking out the defense a little bit. There's a corner kick, so you know those big bodies are going to get in there. Katie Zalski, though, is going to hang back here because they know that counterattack could be coming from Wake Forest, but Ashton Gordon's up there. Look for Shapansky to look for her, Samaya Fury.
Numbers in the box for the Panthers. Shapansky to take it. Looks like Gordon was the closest one there. Mertz on the volley trying to get that one on, but just over the crossbar. A little ambitious from outside for Landy Mertz, but not necessarily a bad opportunity to take there. In that spot with all those bodies in front of the net, you're gonna have a tough time getting a shot through. And subs come on for Wake Forest. It'll be Stoll in for Colton. Johnson coming out as well for Wake Forest. And Vieira comes in. Final 10 minutes here in Pittsburgh. Zach Gibney, Rachel Krieger. This has been a really fun one here at Ambrose Urbanic Field. Pitt up 2-1. Oh my God, trying to make it 3-1 here. Fury with some space. That one rolling in. Fury puts Pitt up 2 with less than 10 to go. And it's a 3-1 lead for the Panthers.
Samaya Fury just adding to her goal scoring tally. We said it at the beginning of the game. Samaya Fury has just been one of those players who she comes in, she comes out, but at the end of the day, she is just a total workhorse for this team. And she is just such an underrated player. Abiodun slips her just a beautiful ball, remains onside, slowly rolls there into the goal. That is a tough shot at a difficult angle too, Zach.
We talked about Fury coming on as someone who could potentially provide a spark offensively for the Panthers. She does just that, excuse me, and makes it a 3-1 lead for the Panthers, who can now breathe much easier in the final 10 of this game. And you talk about Wes Shapansky, these stars for the Panthers. Fury's got 7 goals now. She is just up there with them in providing that offensive spark for the Panthers. And you talk about how these teams usually try and focus on one attacker who's really going to make an impact. You got to focus on 3 or 4 if you're playing up against Pitt.
Yeah, and these ACC teams know that, and they know that Pitt has just an all-around good team, but those attackers specifically, just so tough to keep them contained. Their midfield scores, yes, but those attacking players, I mean, And the nice thing is you can change them around. Like Amanda West has played in that number 9 spot before as well. They're very interchangeable players, and the rotation just works for these players.
Wake Forest also a team that allowed just 8 goals entering this game. And Pitt's got 3.
Goalkeeper Howard was just an inch, her foot was an inch away from blocking that. Samaya Fury hitting the Ronaldo celebration is popularly used in the world of soccer.
She certainly earned it. Fury played a little bit less than half of this game so far today, but with the insurance goal to put Pitt up 2. Abby Oden also with the assist on that one, as she controls in the corner and lets that one go out of bounds for the throw-in.
And talk about just a momentum breaker for Wake Forest now. You know, previously we were telling listeners about, oh, it just takes 1 opportunity. Now you need 2 opportunities, if not 3 opportunities. There's still time left. We've seen crazier things in the ACC, but just made it a lot more difficult for Wake Forest and the Demon Deacons.
They're trying to throw the kitchen sink at goal here now in the last 7 minutes and change of play, but that Pitt back line continues to be very strong today. Gordon with the clear there, and Wake Forest once again having to regroup in that midfield area.
I think this game has really opened up the eyes of Pitt too, because, and Randy Waldrum has said it before, they are not the most physical team, and Wake Forest has brought a level of physicality that they haven't really seen before when playing Duke and Boston College and so on and so forth. So I think this physical test is good for them. Now, as you see with these substitutes, Randy Waldrum not letting Wake Forest get anything easy, bringing in a defender for Chloe Minas.
Really strong game for Minas. Fuchs in for her. Lucia Wells also in for Landy Mertz. The final 6 and change. Laney Fuchs, a pretty fascinating story. We mentioned her a little bit earlier on about that international play. She got a lot of playing time earlier this season. Has seen her minutes cut back a little bit. But still, someone you bring in a spot like this where you need a little bit of a defensive reinforcement, great person to have on the field.
Well, and it's interesting too, because now it just changes the whole formation. I mean, she works well in this back line, of course, but Laney Fuchs, she usually plays on the outside. Well, Olivia Lee plays on the outside, so now Fuchs is kind of slotting in as a center back, and Katie Zalesky moves out to right back.
Gordon clears away with no trouble there. So it seems like we're probably going to see the final 6 or so minutes of this game played in that final third of Wake Forest, but Pitt putting nearly everybody back behind the ball. It's going to be a tough code to crack here in the final stages of this game. Lee in transition. Trying to pull it back there for Shapansky. He's able to partially clear as Dempsey Brown regathers and leaves for Johnson. Hard contact there as Zalesky sends Vieira to the turf. No call, though, as we play on. Good ball into the box there. Leaves that one for Murphy again. That one deflected off of Fuchs. And Shapansky goes back the other way. He's got Mellenhorst on her right. Trying to get that one up to her, but nothing going there. As Chavoshi able to steer that one back to Howard. Hit the 5-minute mark here in the second period of play. Pitt on the brink of yet another ranked win here at home. And it would be a big one here in ACC play. Fury, another opportunity here on the left side. Crosser in the middle for Mellenhorst. Can't control that one on the first touch, though. Out as far as Caulfield. Once again, Ellie Caulfield. And that should seal it for the Panthers.
Ellie Caulfield loves to score from the top of the box. I don't think she'll score inside the box ever again, to be honest with you, Zach.
It's working.
It's working. Why not? Why fix what's working right now? This is a huge scoreline for Pitt coming against a ranked number 17, excuse me, Wake Forest. Just a nice ball again from Abby Oden. The initial blockage there bounces right out. Oh my goodness.
Whew. Caulfield just found a window on that right side of net and snuck it by Howard for the 4th goal of the afternoon for the Panthers. This is a Wake team, as we mentioned, allowed 8 goals coming into this game. Pitt scored 4. Dysik back on for the Panthers. Szczepanski comes out. And Caulfield putting the finishing touches on a really strong home performance.
Just all smiles for Ellie Caulfield, for their beloved Whippy old friend.
A great day to honor her here at Ambrose Urbanic Field. Really strong performances from both Szczepanski and Caulfield. Just capping off a wonderful afternoon here in the Steel City.
And I said leading up to this game on the last couple broadcasts too, when looking at Wake Forest, yes, this is a good team. Yes, this is a team that is finding success in a very, very tough ACC. But I said, also they've been playing bottom table teams and getting results, and they haven't been tested too much. And Pitt is one of the not easier teams that they have on their upcoming schedule, but it's certainly one of the teams that they could have gotten a result against. So I think this week too, we're going to see a lot of change with these rankings. If Pitt is unranked at the start of the week, I am just going to be completely stunned.
What else do they have to do? Ball going in, looking for Fleming Dean on that front post there. Back out as far as Mellenhorst, who puts one on, and in the gloves of Madison Howard. Yeah, I'm thinking if Pitt isn't ranked after this week, there's going to be some questions asked by Randy Waldrum and his staff, because this is an extremely impressive performance. And you look at Wake and you look at Pitt, and they're both really strong teams on paper. I mean, Wake Forest, a team that's been so good defensively, but they've conceded 6 times in the last 2 games. You got to think they might be going back to the drawing board a little bit in that regard after this one today. And it's certainly a team that you can see contending later in the season in the ACC, but certainly a few disappointing results in a row for a team that started off so strong, but has had a few hiccups here lately.
Yeah, and like we mentioned, the road only gets tougher. Up next for them, North Carolina.
Oof.
That's no easy task. And then they have Boston College. Louisville is one of those teams that they upset Pitt, and they've been on task to get a couple more upsets. Coached by one of the greats. 23 years, I believe, Louisville's coach has. One of those long tenured coaches in the ACC. And then Miami. Miami has been kind of one of those wishy-washy teams as well, that's still hanging around the bubble of the ACC playoff potential getting into the tournament. But this is a long road for the Demon Deacons. I think that they could squeak in into that number 5 or number 6 spot. But having this type of game and then going against UNC, it's gonna be tough.
And then for Pitt, you look at getting a result today. You're gonna have a pretty tough schedule the rest of the way. Obviously, you go to Florida State. That's gonna be a really tough one. But getting a win here today was really big for the rest of this season for Pitt.
Yeah, they had 4 straight games at home. 3 wins and 1 draw. I don't think you can beat that too much. Drawing against
a very good team in Notre Dame, too.
Extremely. And that game could have very well been a 1-0 win for Notre Dame, but Deborah Abiodun, she gets the game-winning goal in that game. But this is their remaining schedule. Pitt takes on Syracuse, one of those toward the bottom of the table teams. Then they go on the road. Again, Florida State. That is a tough task, but I mean, Pitt hung with them a little bit last year.
Yeah.
Until the game just kind of blew a little bit open, but I've seen crazier things happen in the ACC, although that's a Florida State team that left Miami completely shotless.
West had a chance there to get her goal, but whistle blows there. And yeah, you talk about Florida State, then you get Clemson right after, who's ranked number 9 in the country. It's like, where does it end for ACC play? But then you see these teams get into the NCAA tournament, and you'll see them cruise because they've been so well conditioned over the course of the regular season against top-tier competition who they're running into really in the later rounds of the tournament. I mean, you saw Pitt play Florida State in the Sweet 16 last year. West with a chance up the right side, trying to get that goal. Amanda West in on goal, and Howard makes a spectacular save on her.
9, 8,
As time dwindles down here at Ambrose Urbanic Field, a 4-1 win for the Panthers over number 17 Wake Forest. Yet another extremely strong showing here at home, Rachel.
Yeah, this just extends